As you walk through Hubbard Brook Forest, you will encounter strange objects, plastic bins and boxes of electronics, flags and tags, pipes in the ground, and solar panels attached to trees. You'll see radio towers and tanks and dikes that are attached to strange little shacks. These are the tools of science. The scientific instruments placed strategically among the hills and hollows of Hubbard Brook are the devices of discovery. They are evidence of human curiosity and concern. I'm an ecologist, trained in the ways of science. But I've become weary of one of the foundational principles of science called the subject-object divide. I don't want to separate myself from nature anymore. So I created a new philosophy for connecting with nature that I call Oika. Oika refers to the intelligence of nature. A few years back, I began collaborating with artists to create a new kind of art based on the principles and practices of Oika. Oika art is art that expresses nature's intelligence through the relationships of humans and nature. Ecology Extended is one such collaboration with the visual artist Rita Leduc to integrate Oika practice into an artistic process. Hubbard Brook is an experimental forest, and Ecology Extended is our experiment to create art that communicates the Oika of the forest to culture through art. The methodology of Oika art is different from science in that we seek out meaningful immersion in an ecosystem. So we hiked the trails, bouldered the contours of the brook, and sought out its hidden places. We spent time across the seasons among the trees and mosses and out on the granite overlooks. We considered the science going on around us, but our approach was open, contemplative, imaginal, and occasionally even playful. We processed the experiential data and asked questions. But mostly, we just listened to the forest. In 2016 and 17, scientists at Hubbard Brook conducted an experiment to study the effects of ice storms on forests. On cold winter nights, they created artificial ice storms that coated the trees with ice. Data generated by the ice storm experiment are sobering. They suggest that if ice storms are more frequent and the damage heavy, the impact may surpass the forest's capacity to recover. Climate change may mean more frequent and more intense ice storms. To understand the issues, scientists measure metrics like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, basal area ratios, biomass, and photosynthetic output. We need this knowledge now more than ever. But these aren't the causes of climate change. They are the symptoms. This climate change happens because humans have forgotten that our fate and that of the Earth are inextricable. Climate change itself is a symptom of human alienation from nature. We've lost our sense of belonging to place. Ultimately, climate change is caused by our perceived separation from nature. So what can we do to address the underlying psychology that creates climate change? And how must we adapt our culture? What capacities must we cultivate in ourselves in order to deal with the imminent changes ahead? We need to change the climate of our minds. And this is precisely what Oika art seeks to do. By showing humans in right relationship to nature, We can change the consciousness that creates issues like climate change in the first place. Oika demonstrates a personal rapport with nature that heals people and place. And through Oika art, we can communicate that healing to culture. When we spent time in the plots of the ice storm experiment, we could feel the injury, but we could also feel the regenerative creativity of the forest. We sensed it in the trees bending back into thriving, and we sensed it in ourselves bending back into belonging. Here especially, we came into contact with the intelligence of the forest, and then we created with it. I can see the Oika of Hubbard Brook in the painting titled Giant in the Forest by Rita Leduc. From the angular strictures of science, I see diversity striving to be. I see living energies arising alongside the brook, striking like lightning and ascending into clouds of human awareness and affection. This is the audacity of nature, simultaneously intimate and infinite, asserting itself as a combinatorial explosion of gratitude, guided by Oika. We hope you can feel Oika too in the colors and shapes of pixels and paint on the gallery wall. But if not, you can always go into the woods yourself. You'll hear Oika babbling in the brook. You'll see it in the way light bounces and penetrates. And you'll smell it rising from the forest floor. But be aware, healing is contagious.